everyone. I'm Charity Dunker, and welcome to this edition of Inside Government. On this edition of Inside Government, I'll be joined by my guest, none other than Mr. Antonio Aventurin from Division Study Financing. And we'll be here discussing the different ways how one can apply for study financing, whether it be to study within the region or overseas, and even those who would like to reapply for study financing or study financing. Mr. Antonio Aventurin, thank you very much for joining me. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks, and thank you for having me on your program.
Okay, you're more than welcome. First things first, how does one apply for study financing?
Okay, applying for study financing is very simple. Our applications are digital, they are online within the study financing portal. So the first step would be one would have to go to our website, which is www.studyfinancing.sx. You can also use www.studyfinancing-sxm.com. And once you log on to the website, then we have a section that is called Before You Apply. Under that section, you can find all the relevant information. What is study financing? What are the study financing requirements? Our priority list of studies, choosing a career, studying in the region, pursuing studies in the Netherlands, and applying for the last one would be applying for study financing, which then takes you into our portal to apply. The application period is upcoming. So I just want to mention, though, that we have the government of St. Martin offers three funding possibilities for persons who want to pursue their studies. Yeah. First of all, we have the regular study financing, and the regular study financing, that, of course, is funding that is provided for the entire duration of your study. And there are specific criteria for that. One of the criteria is, for example, the main criteria is that is only for Dutch nationals. Then we also have study allowances that we award for persons who are going to pursue their studies at NEPA. Yeah, that's a study allowance. And then we have a third possibility, which is the Studying in the Region project, which offers permanent residents of St. Martin for more than 5 years the opportunity to pursue their studies on St. Martin locally, and or persons who also do not meet the full requirements of the regular study financing, because those requirements are kind of hefty. So this project, Studying in the Region project, is the third option that offers persons a chance to pursue their studies.
All right, so those are the three possibilities.
Those are the three funding possibilities currently offered by the government of St. Martin. So we try to cater as much as possible to a broad section of the community. The Studying in the Region project is funded by the Dutch government, and it's specifically geared towards, because the regular study financing have rigorous academic criteria. Yeah, those criteria, for example, you would have to have, for example, a Harvard diploma, or you would have to have your CXC's diploma with at least 6 passes at general level 1, 2, or 3. You would have to have a GED on a certain level. If you don't necessarily meet those criteria, you can always choose to apply for the Studying in the Region project, which would enable you to start up your studies, yeah, and then you can transition over to regular study financing. So that's how we try to cater to everyone by, offering these three funding possibilities.
What about the age? Who is eligible to apply?
Okay, the age limit runs from 17 years old to, 18 actually to 25. But if you're a minor, so if you're 17, you can also receive study financing, but then it's in the form of a full 100% loan. If you're older than 25, you can also apply for study financing, but then the study that you want to pursue must be a study that is identified as a high priority study. Yeah. So persons older than 26, 25 can also receive study financing, but the study has to be a high priority study. So those are the requirements, the main requirements for the age. And of course, if you're older than 25, then it's also awarded to you in the form of 100% loan.
Okay, good. Which countries or parts of the world are some applying for, mostly that you've heard of in the past?
Okay. Most students, the highest, right now, we have the most study financing recipients pursuing their studies in the Netherlands. Uh, that's the highest number of students at this moment. Therefore, that is followed by the United States is extremely popular. And of course, Canada is also popular. Then after that, we have the United Kingdom. However, due to Brexit, there are increasing challenges with pursuing your studies in the United Kingdom as they are no longer part of the European community. And of course, St. Martin, we have quite a number of students studying at USM and also at AUC, the American University of the Caribbean in Cooper County.
We also know that once applying, you also have to give a mention as to which fields you want to study in. And currently, what are the different options or advised fields that you usually uh, offer or suggest to students?
Okay. Well, on an annual basis, the Department of Education, which is also one of the entities within the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, they are tasked with preparing a priority list of studies. Yeah. And based on that priority list of studies, which is then publicized, we just recently publicized the listing for 2022. That gives an indication of the immediate job needs on St. Martin and also projected for the coming 5 to 10 years what our needs would be. That the priority list has been publicized on our website, also on our Facebook page. We have it also running in the newspapers on the information page from the government of St. Martin. And it's also been published in the National Gazette.
Okay. Well, we have to take that break and hold that thought. Radio listeners and television viewers, do stay tuned. We'll be taking a break. And as we return, we'll continue further in discussions about study financing and how to apply, whether be it in the region or overseas. This is Inside Government with your host, Charity Dunker.
The Ombudsman. The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman. We're here for you. The Ombudsman. We are here for you. The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman. We're here for you. The Ombudsman. We are here for you. Good governance is a must. This institution you can trust. Guardian of the Constitution. Not one but more solutions for complaints against the government. Protectors of the citizens. Promoting good governance in our friendly island, St. Martin. The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman. We're here for you. The Ombudsman. We are here for you.
The Ombudsman is the voice and protector of the people. Visit us at E. Camille Richardson Street, number 13 on the Police Station Road in Phillipsburg.
Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs under the Ministry of VSA and the St. Martin AIDS Foundation proudly presents Let's Talk About It, HIV Information Session, featuring 2 episodes. Tune in on World AIDS Day, Wednesday, December 1st and December 15th at 8 p.m. to St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 and 5:30 p.m. on cable TV, the government Facebook page, and the CDFHA Facebook page. Let's talk about it. HIV Information Session. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Inside Government. On this edition, we're speaking with none other than Mr. Antonio Aventurin from Study Financing here in St. Martin. Before the break, we had our discussion on the various areas and fields in which students have already applied, or the ones that you're also advising that they can also study in to receive study financing, Mr. Aventurin. Onwards, how many colleges in Europe and the US and also Caribbean islands are available for applicants to choose from when applying?
Well, there's no limitation on actually the number of colleges or universities. What we advise persons to look at, of course, is the accreditation of the schools, which is extremely important. The safety and security of those schools, because you want to ensure that you're going to study in a safe and secure area. The language of instruction is extremely important, but also we advise persons when choosing a college or university to ensure that the place where you're going to study is a place of study that is recognized by the government of St. Martin, in the sense that when you come back with a diploma, it will also be valued as such. So, for example, in that case, I would give an example. Persons can always choose to study in the Dominican Republic, but then it depends. When you come back, you would have to get your degree or certification evaluated and accredited here on St. Martin, and that the determination would then have to be made whether it's equivalent to something that is here on St. Martin. So that is always something that you have to take into consideration when choosing a college or university, but the options are open for persons to choose them at their will. The government of St. Martin, however, we have some agreements with a few universities and colleges where we recommend students to go to. So we have Tallahassee Community College in Tallahassee, based on the sister city agreement that we have with Tallahassee. So we have Tallahassee Community College in Tallahassee. We have Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, FAMU. We also have Florida State University in Tallahassee. Those three universities and colleges offer in-state tuition, which means that persons from St. Martin are then able to study for 1/3 of what the tuition would be for a regular international student. So those are really favorable rates, and we recommend students. If persons are interested, for example, in going to Florida State University, we recommend that they start up at Florida State University in Panama, because then they're guaranteed that in-state tuition once they transfer over to the American campus. We also have agreements with Monroe College in New York, in New Rochelle, New York, where our students, they study there for very favorable rates. We're busy pursuing agreements with institutions in Canada, but that is taking some time. As Canada continue to become more high interest for our students, we're trying to bring down those tuition rates. But for now, those are the main universities and campuses, and it's very difficult to get those agreements signed these days because of COVID-19. A lot of the schools were forced to go online, so they suffered a lot financially. So we're in the process of doing some negotiations on that, and hopefully we'll be able to secure some better rates for our students.
And in mentioning of the COVID-19, how has that been with further negotiations and preparing for this coming year for applicants?
Well, that has not affected our operations in any which way, because, during COVID-19, most schools transitioned to the online platform. Most colleges and universities transitioned to the online platform. So as an essential service, Division Study Financing was also required to continue providing our regular services. So we have been fully functional during the last 2 years and providing study financing. We have been able, thankfully, we have been able to meet our commitments to our students despite the government of St. Martin financial challenges. So I think that is very important to mention, that we have been able to continue to meet all the commitments to students studying abroad, and also in a timely fashion, because we know that payments depend a lot on students having to register, so they need to get their payments in a timely fashion. But some of the concerns related to COVID-19, of course, we have seen worldwide an increase in mental health issues among students, because of they're not able to socialize, they're not meeting their friends and stuff like that, a lot of isolation. So depression is on the rise. So we have been taking steps also to inform and also educate our study financing recipients as they go abroad to deal and cope with these challenges much better.
Okay. We're going to take that break, and coming up right after the break, we'll be posting the next question locally at University of St. Martin, which programs can be actually financed by study financing here in St. Martin. Do stay tuned on Inside Government with Charity Dunker and Mr. Antonio Aventurin from Division Study Financing.
Do you know there is such a thing as teen dating violence? Seriously, there is. When your boyfriend or girlfriend is controlling your every move, trolling you online, checking your social media page, recording you without your permission, or forcing you to do things you don't want to do, this is abuse. If you find yourself in this situation, please talk to someone you can trust. Your parents, school counselor, or the police.
This message has been brought to you by Women's Desk.
Hey!
Hey, what's up?
Girl, I heard you moved.
Yeah, I have, but I haven't reached the civil registry to change my address yet.
Did you know according to the law, you have 5 working days to change your address after moving?
The changing of address can be done in 2 ways. 1, making an appointment where you appear in person at the civil registry. 2, sending an email to burkazakan@stmartingov.org. What is required to change your address? A valid identification such as a passport, ID card, or driver's license. The deed of property if you're the owner, a lease agreement if you're renting, a GB utility bill, or the permission form from the landlord or property owner, including their identification. Who can change an address? A person who is 18 years or older. For minors, both parents have to give consent. Failure to register your change of address can result in a fine. For more information, please contact the Civil Registry Department at 721-542-0652 or email us at burkazakan@stmartingov.org. We are located at the Government Administration Building, Swaliga Road, number 1, Phillipsburg, St. Martin.
Are you planning on getting married? When getting married on St. Martin, you have to submit a marriage intention by the Civil Registry. This can only be done by 2 persons of opposite sex. This request, whether in person or in writing, must be submitted at least 14 days before the date of marriage. During that time, the Civil Registry verifies the marital status of each individual getting married. If the marriage does not take place within 1 year, the marriage intention process has to start over. The following documents needed are a detailed birth certificate. Unmarried persons must present a declaration of marital status. If widow, a death certificate. If divorce, a divorce certificate. All documents must be originals, not older than 3 years, and may require legalization. Additional information and documents needed are passport copies of the bride, groom, and witnesses. All foreign documents must be translated in Dutch or English. The price for contracting marriage depends on your choice of location and day of the ceremony, whether at the marriage hall or away from the marriage hall, and will be minimum 315 guilders or maximum 725 guilders. Non-Dutch nationals requires attending an interview at the Immigration Department. Marriages will be performed after all documents are found correct by the Civil Registrar. The law separates church from state. Witnesses are minimum 2 and maximum 6. Please contact the Civil Registry Department for more information before planning your marriage.
Welcome back to Inside Government with yours truly, Charity Dunker, and my guest, Mr. Antonio Aventurin from Division Study Financing. Locally at USM, University of St. Martin, which programs are financed by the department, Mr. Aventurin, sorry?
Okay, well, the University of St. Martin have a special place for government because the University of St. Martin is subsidized by the government of St. Martin. As such, we support our local institution, which entails that all programs offered at USM students are eligible for study financing to pursue their studies there. So all programs offered at USM, and in actuality, once the study is available locally at USM, we will not award study financing for anyone to pursue those studies abroad. So that is the favorable position that USM has, being a government of St. Martin subsidized school. And of course, we want to promote and support studying on St. Martin and locally.
Okay. When does registration begin for those who are applying for study financing, and also the deadline to submit?
Okay. So like I mentioned before, we have 3 funding possibilities. For the first one, studying in a region, the application period actually starts on December 1st, 2021 until December 15th, 2021. So that's for studying in a region that we're busy right now promoting that. We are visiting some schools, and we had already had some information sessions on that. So the application period for studying in a region starts on December 1st, and the deadline to submit your documentation or your application is December 15th, 2021. Then the other possibility is for the regular study financing. Regular study financing, the application period commences on January 1st, 2022, and that will run up until February 15th, 2022. So that's a complete month and a half for the regular study financing. For the NEPA study allowance, the application period is also the same. That runs from January 1st, 2022 up until February 15th, 2022. Those persons, for the regular study financing and for the NEPA study allowance, those persons would be eligible to start their studies in August, at the earliest August 2022. The Studying in a Region project, they will be able to start their studies retroactive August 2021 or as early as January 2022. So that offers a different possibility. So the 2, NEPA study allowance and the regular study financing, you can start August 1st. You'll be eligible to start August 1st, 2022. So that's mainly for students who are still in the exam classes, or students who graduated last year and took a year off and want to start in August. And for persons who already started, for example, on their own without study financing, or intend to start January 2022, they can apply for the Studying in a Region so that they're able to fund their studies.
All right. What is all that is required of one who would like to apply? What documents do they have to submit?
Okay. The main documents that you need to submit, of course, are your personal or parental taxes for 2020. 2020, that's going to be needed. They're also going to need proof of application to a university or college. Yeah, so they have to prove that proof of application. Then for the regular study financing, they would need, and NEPA study allowance, proof of Dutch nationality. Yeah, a valid health certificate, which can be obtained from their house doctor. Their most recent grades or high school diploma. So if they're currently still in high school, their most recent grades, so their first trimester grades. If they have already graduated, your diploma and transcript, and a detailed registration form from the civil registry. It must be a detailed registration form. Those are the required documents, and those documents are needed. You have to upload them into our portal. When you complete the application, you're going to be prompted to enter your grades and also upload the documents that I just mentioned.
All right.
And then once you do that and sign the application, which you have to do digitally, then you've completed your application for study financing, and it automatically comes into us.
How many years could a student loan be for?
It depends on the country in which you're studying in. For the Netherlands, it's maximum 6 years. And that is specifically because the transition from our students to the Netherlands is still extremely challenging. And most students require an additional time to complete their studies based on all the surveys and the information that. For the USA and Canada, or in the region, that is normally 5 years, maximum 5 years, because that is in most cases, students are able to complete much quicker. So maximum 4 years, and depending on where you're going to, it can be adjusted downward. Well, it will be adjusted downward.
When students has completed their study years, when does the process begin to pay back, the payback process?
So once you complete your studies, of course, I must mention, and that is something that is coming up a lot. The government of St. Martin awards study financing based on a priority listing of studies for country St. Martin. So study financing is awarded with the intention that our students would return home to pursue a career back home. Now, in that case, by law, students are required to, within 6 months after they graduate, to return to St. Martin. Repayment of their study loan would then schedule to commence within a year or two thereafter, depending on the time that we are able to process it. If a student, for example, wants to remain abroad and work, that is not a problem. But once they indicate such, it means that all the funding that they receive from the government of St. Martin would then be transferred into 100% loan. So you can remain abroad after you complete your studies, but you have to pay the full amount that you receive from us back. If you come home, on the contrary, you're eligible for up to 60% discount on everything that you receive from the government of St. Martin to be able to, and we have favorable payment plans. So it's a monthly payment plan, so you don't have to repay everything in one bulk. And if you're not able to pay, you can always submit a request to have the amount reduced, and then we process that for you.
Okay. Also, if a student wants to change their studies to another profession, is that possible during the study?
Yes, changing your study is possible. On our website, we have all the procedures for study financing recipients. Under recipients, we have all the procedures listed. So it's important for students, before they change their study, to, of course, follow the career interest, do a career interest test. And once they're ready to change their study, they can submit a request. They have to submit a motivated letter to the minister, motivating the reason for their change, and proof that they have been accepted into the new study. We also look at whether or not what they have done up until that point, if any credits are transferable to the new study. But in general, it's possible to change your study.
Thank you very much for answering all these questions. I'm sure the radio listeners and television viewers are also thankful, Mr. Aventurin from the Division Study Financing. Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure being your guest, and I hope that this information is useful to the general public. And if there are any need to contact us, persons can contact us via our Facebook page, or via email at info@studyfinancing.sx, or via our WhatsApp number at 527-3840.
To our radio listeners and television viewers, thank you very much for following and tuning in and being a part of this edition of Inside Government. For our rebroadcast, if you have missed this program, be sure to log on to the official government website at stmartingov.org for video on demand. And for a rebroadcast, do tune in and follow St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM. On behalf of our team here at the Department of Communication, I am Charity Dunker, thanking you very much for tuning in.